The sesame seed is a small but mighty seed. This is in terms of its potential for foreign income generation, domestic and industrial uses. In 2021, Nigeria generated about 50 billion naira from export of sesame seeds. Tonight's episode of the program will focus on sesame production in Nigeria, the economic importance of the crop, and the effort of government and other stakeholders in developing the sesame value chain in Nigeria. But before then, we have the news segment. I am your guide, Gabriel Ojile, welcoming you to the program Transforming Agriculture in Nigeria. Keep watching.
Every part of Nigeria has something to offer.
The program begins with news from the diary of the Federal Ministry of Agriculture and Food Security as we bring you stories of happenings around the ministry and stakeholders in the agricultural sector as a whole. Join me after this short break for details.
In an effort to deliver on the food security agenda of the federal government, the Federal Ministry of Agriculture and Food Security has said that it will be partnering with the National Agency for Science and Engineering Infrastructure, NASENI, in the area of agricultural infrastructure. This was disclosed by the Honorable Minister of Agriculture and Food Security, Senator Abubakar Kyari, during a meeting between the ministry and NASENI in Abuja. The minister stated that mechanization of agriculture is the way to go in ensuring food security, saying that the ministry would work with the agency to ensure that farmers have access to agricultural infrastructure to boost food production in Nigeria.
Well, we're very excited with your coming, and like HMS has said, we raise a team from our side to collaborate with your side and see how we can help that handshake and work together for the benefit of our people and the country, and so that we can also achieve the set goals of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. Of course, you know that we signed the performance bond, so by extension, everybody has signed the performance bond. Yeah, everybody has. I signed on behalf of the citizens.
During the meeting, the directors of the ministry also asked the Chief Executive Officer of NASENI about strategies and the capacity of the agency to deliver on agricultural mechanization that would enhance production of crops, pasture development, irrigation, and value addition. In his response, the Chief Executive Officer of NASENI, Khalil Suleiman Halilu, assured the ministry that the agency has innovations that can enhance mechanization of agricultural value chain and surmount challenges of pests and diseases.
I'd like to mention that our mandate is quite flexible. We are government, but we operate somewhat like private company. For those of you who are aware, there are companies we have like Nasini Solar Limited in Nasarawa, and we're about building the first solar cell factory in Africa. So the reason why I'm saying this is all these challenges you are giving to us, it gives you an opportunity for us to do government-to-government collaboration, for us to be on the driver's seat to actually produce all the things that you want.
The Niger State government has approached the Federal Ministry of Agriculture and Food Security for collaboration that will tap the huge agricultural potentials of the state. This request for collaboration was made during a courtesy visit by the Niger State Commissioner for Agriculture, Honorable Musa Bawa Boso, to the Ministry of Agriculture and Food Security in Abuja. Speaking during the visit, Honorable Musa stated that Niger State has vast arable land and efforts are being made by the state to encourage farmers to upscale agricultural activities in the state. He therefore appealed to the ministry to collaborate with the state to develop irrigation facilities among other agriculture needs.
We employ the Federal Ministry of Agriculture to partner with Niger State in some areas that include, but not limited to, development of irrigation infrastructure,
the state has 18 irrigation schemes with a combined potential of over 500,000 hectares for irrigation farming. These schemes are in various stages of dilapidation that requires substantive intervention.
Responding, the Minister of State, Federal Ministry of Agriculture and Food Security, Senator Aliyu Sabi Abdullahi, assured the Commissioner that the ministry would visit Niger State to assess the efforts made so far and support the state and any other state that is serious in ensuring food security in the country.
When we presented our focal area and roadmap for what we intend to do from now till 2027, we did a press briefing right in this venue. One of the things we looked at is a framework for partnership and collaboration with states. And to make this possible, we have said we would like the state to work with us so that we can institutionalize certain things. We want to establish two critical platforms. The first one is with the state, the second one with local governments.
Sesame is a crop that can easily be grown and which has a lot of economic importance. Our next segment, record of the Federal Ministry of Agriculture and Food Security, highlights the uses of sesame seed, the level of production in Nigeria, and the policy direction of the Federal Ministry of Agriculture and Food Security to enhance the value chain of the crop. Keep watching and take advantage of the opportunities we are unveiling in a moment.
Sesame, also called Benny seed, is a plant in the genus Sesame. It is cultivated around the world for its edible seeds, which grow in pods. Matured sesame plant has green leaves and a white flower. Sesame seed is one of the oldest oil seed crops known. It has one of the highest oil contents of any seed. With a rich nutty flavor, it is a common ingredient in cuisines around the world.
It can be eaten raw. In Nigeria, we eat it raw, and we also use it to do stew, just like egusi. But research has shown us that the oil is very useful, and that is why it's one of the best oil in the world. It is also being used for pharmaceuticals. It is being used for cosmetics. It is being used for confectionaries.
Sesame was first cultivated over 3,000 years ago. The crop tolerates drought conditions and it can grow where other crops fail. According to the statistics of the Food and Agricultural Organization of the United Nations, world production of sesame seed in 2020 was 7 million metric tons. Sudan was the leading producer with 1,525 million metric tons, followed by Myanmar with 740,000 metric tons, Tanzania 710,000 metric tons, India 658,000 metric tons, while Nigeria was at the 5th position with 490,000 metric tons. Nigeria's sesame production capacity increased to 600 metric tons in 2022. The states that are leading producers of the seeds are Jigawa, Nasarawa, Benue, Gombe, and Sokoto. Sesame is also cultivated in other states in the northeast, northwest, north central, and some states in the southeast.
We are expecting that if we can maximize what we have, putting all our resources together, because for now we are engaging about 580 hectares of land, where we currently produce about 586,000 metric tons. And we have about 3,500,000 hectares of land that could be used for the production of sesame seed. It is also on survey that from FAO that the country can earn as much as $1.5 million quarterly from this subsector.
Japan is the world's largest importer of sesame seeds. China is the second largest importer, while other major importers are United States, Canada, the Netherlands, Turkey, and France. 90% of sesame seeds produced in Nigeria is exported to China and Japan. In the first quarter of 2018, 8 billion naira worth of sesame seeds were exported to China from Nigeria, 6.56 billion naira to Japan, and 6.1 billion naira to Turkey. Nigeria generated a total of 49.9 billion naira from export of the sesame seeds in the first quarter of 2022.
So it is a crop that has a lot of utilization by the outside world. In our own case here, yes, we utilize it. We used to make some condiment with it. We used to have some quick snacks with it, but it's not much. And those who normally go to the farms and buy from the farmers do aggregate it, clean it, and export it. And that is why that whopping sum of almost 50 billion was realized in the first quarter of 2022. So it is a crop that we are encouraging people to go into its production. It's very easy to produce. You don't need much capital to produce a hectare. So, but when you do it well, what you will get out of it is a lot of money.
Despite the huge potentials and the attractive markets for the crop, it is confronted with some challenges like many other crops. Sesame farmers in Nigeria are faced with the challenges of low yield per hectare, inadequate processing plants for the crop, poor transportation infrastructure, multiple taxation for exporters, difficulty in getting the required quality seeds that meet international standard for export, inadequate number of good laboratories to test the sesame seeds in Nigeria before exportation, inability to access financial assistance from financial institutions, pests and diseases, among others. But how is the ministry taking steps to surmount these challenges?
Agreed, the tonnage per hectare is not as we want it to be, because it is about 0.5 to 1 metric ton per hectare. But in the other world, where they have developed this crop seriously, they used to get about 1 to 1.6 metric tons per hectare. We are not yet there, but I am assuring you that efforts are being made to see how we can reach by bringing in the good seeds that can give us that yield and putting in all the agronomic practice that is required for that crop to thrive. When that one is done, I want to assure you that it is going to be at least 2 tons per hectare.
In tackling pests and diseases, the ministry is also supporting farmers with agrochemicals and guidance on the type of seeds for different agroecological zones of the country.
The challenges are obvious. It's of pests and diseases. Normally, we want a good selection of the seeds because there are some of these seeds that have been developed that are pest resistant and they can do well in a particular ecology. So during the selection of the seeds, it is important for the farmer to identify where he wants to plant the seeds, because that area may be susceptible to a particular type of disease that may affect this crop. So if the office knows that this is where you want to plant it, a particular variety will be recommended for you, which will be against these particular diseases. That notwithstanding, if that one is not available, we have the herbicide you will use, the selective, and the one for the pest when the time comes, particularly when it is flowering.
The ministry is also building the capacity of farmers in good agricultural practices, especially on harvesting method and time.
The challenges some of our farmers do have is harvesting it late or harvesting it too early. There is a time you are supposed to harvest this crop. When you allow it late, then you stand the risk of losing some of these crops, because by then it must have dried. In the process of harvesting, particularly if you are doing it manually, this thing may shatter and you may lose the seed. So we teach farmers under the capacity building time for them to know the right time to harvest. Ideally, you should make sure it's matured. When you harvest it, you now go and allow it to dry at one particular place, so that even if you just shake it at that time, you will be able to get the pot open and you get your seeds there and then.
The Federal Ministry of Agriculture and Food Security also gives priority to the development of this crop, and it is included in the National Agricultural Technology and Innovation Policy and some programs which encourage government's commitment and direction to enhance the production of this crop.
One, we have this input support program, which we've been doing year in, year out, where we support our farmers across the 26 states of the Federation where sesame seeds are being planted. And we support them with farm inputs, such as seeds, agrochemicals, and other farm implements. We also do technology transfer to our farmers and other stakeholders. We consult, we do what we call what I can call technology transfer through awareness creation. We do that along with other people in the value chain.
The program is transforming agriculture in Nigeria, and we have been highlighting the great potentials of Nigeria in sesame production, the economic benefits of the crop and challenges, as well as policy direction and support of the Federal Ministry of Agriculture and Food Security in developing the value chain of the crop. The ministry is not the only stakeholder in the sesame value chain. It also partners with other institutions, farmers, and other stakeholders to maximize the potentials of sesame in Nigeria. In our next segment, Partnership for Development, we are focusing on the partnership between the ministry and other stakeholders. Keep watching.
The Federal Ministry of Agriculture and Food Security is collaborating with research institutes, National Agricultural Seeds Council, as well as seed companies through the National Agricultural Technology and Innovation Policy to enhance quality seed production of the sesame.
With the plan, we have agreed to regulate the seeds distribution. Some people go to the market and buy grain and package it and say it is seed. But I assure you, when you plant seed and you plant grain, the difference will be clear in terms of the yield and in terms of even the nature by mere looking at it. So it is important that the NATIV has brought out this guideline for the Seed Council to key in. And from there, we now know that the Seed Council can collaborate with the seed companies to make sure that whatever goes out as seed is seed. And we encourage farmers from our own end to go and buy seed, not grain, if they want to plant.
Aside the research institutes and NASC, the ministry is also working with other ministries, agencies of government and development partners to enhance the value chain of sesame.
There are other partners. We have, like for instance, we still have the ENSAN, National Sesame Seed Association of Nigeria, under the able leadership of Alhaji Sherif Balogun. We have Association of Sesame Seed Farmer of Nigeria, under the able leadership of Alhaji Muntari. We have other partners like the Raw Material Research and Development Council. We have Nigeria Export Promotion Council. We also have Ministry of Trade and Investment regulating the business around, particularly upstream, around this sector. We also partner with other departments in the ministry. The Ministry of Finance is there that usually provide the fund, the resources through the yearly appropriation. So we have so many partners.
The Federal Ministry of Agriculture and Food Security does not give direct funds to farmers and processors, but collaborates with financial institutions and development partners by creating enabling environment for farmers to access funds to enhance agriculture and the production of sesame in particular.
The financing window, I will address it from two folds. One, from the angle of government. Year in, year out, government have been appropriating fund resources, although lean, we'll be making maximum use of it. Funding might not necessarily mean provision of money. So we've been using these resources available to take knowledge to people. And when it comes to funding in terms of money, we can talk about the windows of opportunity like NISA that the central bank has put in place that has been assisting people, granting people farmers loan. We can talk about Bank of Agriculture. We can talk about Bank of Industry, particularly those who are into processing of this commodity. We can also talk about the commercial bank.
For effective development of the sesame value chain, the three players in production, packaging and marketing of the seeds must have mutual partnerships for mutual benefits.
There are people who normally buy from the farmers, aggregate it, clean it, and package it ready for export. They may not be the one to export. They may also be the one to sell to those who are going to export. But it is very clear that those who have benefited from government in terms of production and those who are able to get these machines for grading and cleaning also benefited from government. So I'm sure they are going to look at each and every person's labor, and it should be paid commensurately.
For sesame farmers to benefit from policies and programs of government, they are advised to join commodity associations such as the National Sesame Seed Association of Nigeria or Farmers Association of Nigeria, as well as forming farm clusters. Any individual farmer that needs advice on sesame production can also approach the ministry.
They should be resolute in their drive, because sometimes it is not easy. I farm myself. I'm also a practical farmer. It is sometimes farming is not easy. I urge them that no matter the circumstance, they should just continue and believing that they will hit the glory day. The market there, the market in sesame seed, you don't need to look for it. The market will look for you, and we'll continue to engage with them. We'll continue. Our doors are open in the ministry. We are open 24 hours. They can get in touch with us. If it is linked to market, we can link them to market. Whatever assistance they want, the one we can provide, we'll be able to provide. The one we cannot provide, we'll be able to guide them appropriately.
Indeed, the sesame seed is small but mighty in income generation and uses. Thanks to the Federal Ministry of Agriculture and Food Security for making it one of the priority crops in the quest for economic growth and food security. I'm sure you have learned something new today. So why don't you take advantage of the investment opportunities in the production of sesame for job and wealth creation, food security and improved livelihood. This is the much we can take on this episode of the program. Join us again same time, same station next week for another interesting package. I'm Gabriel Ojile. Bye for now.